What do you want out of this thing called life? Like when it's all said and done, right? When they get through telling you how cute, how cool you are, right? How strong you are. Like when it's all said and done, what do you want from this thing called life? But be careful, because it's very easy in life to have achievement and not fulfillment. I said, be careful in life. It's very easy to become a public success, but behind closed doors, you're a private failure. Not because you didn't have the talent or the skill set. You had the talent and the skill set, but your talent and your skill set took you to a place that your character couldn't sustain you because you wasn't developing. But when I was young, the expectation where I grew up was extremely low. I was born to a mother at 16 years old, right? My family tree, I had a grandmother drop out 3rd grade, grandfather dropped out 5th. They had 16 children. Out of 16, 3 graduated high school, and 1 just so happened to be my mother. I was being raised in a 2-bedroom home. There was 14 of us living there. And so when I said I wanted to go to the NFL, it was kind of like, yeah, Inky, we hear you, but the family has a track record of failure, right? Like nobody has really made it past high school. And so we hear you, but we're really not taking you serious. Outside of that, we can't afford to pay to put you in organized sports. And so the excuses were coming, and I wanted to know if me and my 3 younger cousins wanted to do it and do it for real, could we be committed to the process of it even when we didn't have the resources? And so just making it to the NFL for superficial, materialistic, it wasn't deep enough for me. My question was always, could I become committed to the process of what I was doing without being emotionally attached to the results of what I was doing? In other words, if I didn't get what I thought I was going to get, can I still show up and be just as dedicated, just as committed, and just as on fire as I was at day one, right? Because everybody knows how to respond when they get what they're supposed to get and things go the way it's supposed to go. I think that's the reason the quote says you judge the character of a person not by where they stand in times of comfort and convenience. You judge the character of a person by where they stand in times of challenge and controversy.
Negative is normal. It's not successful, but it's normal. It's part of life. You must learn to handle the negative. Don't ignore it. Handle it. You don't have to live in it. You don't have to dwell on it, but you do have to handle it. But I say you got to handle the negative. And there is a war on. The minute you were born, you got involved in the war between good and evil, between darkness and light, between negative and positive, between evil and good, between tyranny and democracy, between weeds and human activity. I mean, the war is on. If democracy sleeps, guess who never sleeps? Tyranny. In the absence of light, guess what's automatic? Darkness. If good does not arouse itself and become active, guess what moves in? Evil. It's a war. A mental war, a physical war, a financial war, between enterprise and ease, between accomplishment and failure. It's a war.
You got some of the most brilliant people on the face of this planet. When they hit adversity, they can't fight themselves out of a paper bag. And it's not even that they don't have the will, like they got it. It's that the perspective about the adversity isn't right. And I firmly believe perspective drives performance every day of the week. How an individual view what they do will always affect how they do what they do, right? Because everybody knows how to respond when they get what they're supposed to get and things go the way it's supposed to go. I think that's the reason the quote says you judge the character of a person not by where they stand in times of comfort and convenience. You judge the character of a person by where they stand in times of challenge and controversy.
Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship.
I said I'm gonna be there for my teammates. And so in essence, you gotta take my life before you take my drive. I wasn't working just to be a great football player. I wanna be a great man. I wanna be a great father for my children. I wanna be a great husband for my wife. I wanna be a great servant in the world. I don't want when adversity or rain comes, I'm the guy, I was great before the adversity, but the moment the adversity hit, I never turned back to true form. I don't wanna be that person that's great when everything is going all good, but when something goes wrong, they flee and they want nothing to do with it. I wanna be that person that's gonna show up rain, sleet, or snow, and they're gonna give you everything they got. Right? I was working, so one day when the game of football stopped, my arm and my hand was paralyzed. My mindset wasn't. My arm and my hand got paralyzed. My drive wasn't. My commitment wasn't. Right? I'm talking concrete commitment. I'm talking a commitment that says, I am going to stay true to what I said I would do long after the mood that I've set it in has left. right? Because character is not something we inherit. Character is something we got to wake up every single day. We got to fight and we got to build it, right? In the midst of adversity, in the midst of challenges, in the midst of successes, in the midst of failures, we got to get up every single day. We got to fight for peace, right? We got to fight for happiness. We got to fight for joy. Like I told a guy, I said, you think life just going to give you happiness on a platter and say, I heard you wanted to be happy. Here you go, FedEx package overnight. No. We got to get up. We got to fight for that. Right? We got to fight for joy. We got to fight for peace. Right? The worst thing in the world is when you see somebody that's amazing, like talented, skill set out of this world, and they don't have any passion. Life has robbed them. Right? They're a walking zombie. Right? They're just a shell. They get up, they go to work, they do what they do, they come back home, wake up the next day, repeat, do it all over again.
And that's what's going to make your death so sad. That's what's going to make it so sad, is that you never live first. You never fully engaged. You never fully studied. You never fully invested in anything or anybody. You want to get something that you are not willing to give. You have never been joined.
Somebody asked me one time, what quality would I pick if I wanted to work with somebody? And you know what I picked first? Number one, strong feeling. Please, number one, give me somebody that feels strong about most anything. I don't even care, just so they believe it. Even if they disagree with me, wonderful, just so they disagree vigorously. I'm not saying it's easy to win those kind of people to your point of view, but I'd rather do that than to try to resurrect people from the dead. Pump them up every month, pump them up, pump them up. I pass.
Like I asked the guy once, I said, man, what do you love about what you do? He said, well, I go to work, I make my money, I come home, put food on the table, roof over my family's head. I said, that's great, that's awesome, man. I said, but if there's one thing you can point to and say, I love it. He said, nothing, man. I go to work, I make my money, do what I do. I said, it's great. I said, but man, that sounds painful. I said, when you think about the average life expectancy is 77. Average person retires around 67. So the average person works somewhere around 50 years to be free for 11. That's a raw deal, right? Like it means nothing. I just want one thing from people, right? I'm not one of these guys that travel around the world and try to tell people how to do what they do. I wouldn't disrespect you in that way. But I do understand this about life. People don't burn out because of what they do. People burn out because life makes them forget why they do it. Like the passion that they first had when they said, man, I'm with you. I'm going to give you everything I got. Whether that be sports, whether that be business, whether that be a family. Right? The drive that they have when they first start something, then life comes knocking. They say, man, I'm going to stay committed to it. Right? I'm going to be a better person. It's like at the beginning of every year. Right? What do people have? Resolution. Then late February, you see them with the cupcakes. Right? And you're like, man, what happened to that resolution? They're like, man, bump that. It's not that deep. Right? I just want people to never allow life to make them forget why they do what they do. Right? To never allow life to rob you of your passion. To never allow life to rob you of your joy, your peace, your happiness. Not only do you owe it to yourself, you owe it to those that you're connected to.
It doesn't matter what happens to you. The only thing matters, what are you going to do about it? That's all that matters. Okay, life knocked you down. What are you going to do about it? How long are you going to sit there and say, you know what they did to me? How long? Who wants to hear that racket? Use that energy to get up from there and move on and get on with your life. You got to learn to let the past go so you can grow. Many people never act on their dreams because they allow their past experiences to determine what their possibilities are. Whatever you've done in the past, that's not a reflection of your possibilities. That's just a reflection of your consciousness. That's just a reflection of your development and your growth. The future is unfolding for you right now. The future is unlimited for you right now. No one knows where you can go. No one knows what you're capable of or what's possible for you. You don't even know that. I had no idea, ladies and gentlemen. No one could have convinced me that I was able to do this. I'll never forget, I was speaking in Detroit, and a high school friend of mine saw me afterwards. He was backstage. He said, I can't believe it's the same person. And I thought for a moment, and I said, it's not. The person you know, he gone. He doesn't live here anymore. We have the power to change our personal history, changing the direction of our lives, changing our thoughts, changing where we want to go, exploring new horizons. So as you begin to look at this decade and affirming that this is your decade, as you set goals that will make you stretch, that will bring out the best in you, as you begin to remove the negative, toxic people from your life, as you decide to take some chances in life, and that's one of the things that's very important. This God said, if you're not willing to risk, you cannot grow. And if you cannot grow, you cannot become your best. And if you cannot become your best, you cannot be happy. And if you can't be happy, then what else is there?